So you're welcome to be with me where I am. But where I am is in this, well, I'm still a child, but my pansonic space is, panspatial field is large and is preoccupied with God. And it's that preoccupation which ideally in my mind determines the type of contact I have with those around. Whether they come to me in some measure of harmony or some measure of discord. Because they, that I'm aware of, are also children like myself. But perhaps not particularly centered on God, as I purpose to be. Does that make sense? So no, I don't, for instance, wish to have any pets, because I don't want to force them into a world they're not ready for. But if a creature wishes to spend its time with me, then I was going to say it's welcome to, but at that moment I had a mosquito in the dark here. It's about 6 minutes past 6 in the morning. It was buzzing around my face. I just heard it. And I'd not known he was there since last night, but so I stopped and opened the door so that he might take the opportunity of departing, because I fear he will not be in harmony with my purpose. I mean, he may, I say he, it's always female that's after blood, as regards the mosquito. And I would separate myself if I need to take such opportunity, because they're purposed on staying and going to be a harm. We're not here to be persecuted to death and crucified, you know. We're not sacrificial. God doesn't sacrifice. He loves and cares, but he doesn't need to make sacrifices. Something of that I think I have in mind. So I will separate myself from what I find to be inharmonious with my present panspatial purposing, and hopefully accordingly with my preoccupation with God, to love God with all my heart, soul, mind and strength, that I therefore pick and choose accordingly. I do pick and choose, but it's according to the harmony with which I have this preoccupation with loving God with all heart, soul, mind and strength. It's not a sacrificial loving them, putting them first, you see. In other words, dear one, I won't actually put you first. I put God first, in as far as I understand such a course. and care for you accordingly. And that accordingly is knowing that he loves and cares for you, not to be my prime concern, but he is to be my prime concern, but to care for you accordingly to that. That makes sense. Well, this is not a very good foundation for marriage, of course. Marriage is a best friend situation, which school children have, don't they? Children have. One is my best friend, and well, as a child, the only best friend I can have is God. As an adult, I come to know the right relation of all from the heavenly perspective, which is one of all-knowing and omnipresence, not just local, panspatial, to a few persons. All-knowing and all-powerful, but in such harmony of being that such does not endanger any other life. I mean, quite wonderfully a utopia indeed. Life eternal. But, as Jesus might say in the story, in my Father's house are many mansions. And not just this one, a classroom. But places prepared that are individually suitable to each of us in our current state. Should we drop out of this classroom situation? But the ideal is the one state of heaven. Which is where all, I'm simplifying here, I think, spiritual adults truly live, when they are complete, the fullness of their own self, in harmony with all. In freedom even completely with God. Perfect fellowship with Him and each other. Certainly a non-returning state, but in some sense in a state that abides ever in that one place. It's the best I can do at the minute as regards insight. It's an insight into what I'm able to appreciate at present, and limited accordingly. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. You see, we go to heaven, the ultimate state, because of God, not because of us, not because of some achieved or attained state. It's not that my free will is to choose heaven. It's that it's God's free will that you are chosen for heaven. So you don't have to tolerate a bargain in, say, the astral world with some spirit that's presenting as, say, for argument's sake, Jesus or God, and exercise your free will to, for instance, come back to the material world for yet another life, say. It's not for you or me to decide. It's of the goodness of God who chooses and does what he does. So, it's not a case that I have to respond to some sort of deal or request or some sort of option. I simply reply with a trust in God. He and he alone makes the decision, because he's right in a comprehensive, truly loving, kind way. He is our Heavenly Dad. It is his decision, for my life is his from before the beginning into eternity. He decides, not me. So you don't come back to earth for some feeling of guilt or blame or work not yet done. I mean, it's all nonsense, because God doesn't need anything like that. God only has the will for all life to become wonderful like himself, in harmony with himself, forever, life eternal. And that achievement is his, not mine. It's not a case of I now qualify because of some purity or whatever. It's because of his determination that I be eternal and full, member of the host of heaven, his lovely family, his reason for living, our reason for living eternally, because of his goodness, because of who he is. It's not because of what I am, except to say I'm a child of God and therefore necessarily destined for life eternal. As an adult, if you like, in the heavenly host, his family, our family. Love you, Heavenly Dad. So, if you're listening to this recording, which you are, of course, so I can speak straight to your heart, never feel in any dimension, physical, astral or causal, that you have to make the decision. You know in your heart it is God's decision, not any bargain in any transitory presented state, where you would choose, in of course, a measure of childishness and ignorance. It's wholly in God's hand, good hand. Perfect. He makes the decision, not us. Thank God. For I do not want to make my decision, whatever. I don't want to make decisions out of ignorance, out of childishness. I trust in our Creator and Sustainer of all. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Thank you, Dad. Now and in the now in this world we experience the opportunity of this trust in every detail. I drive, I don't know how safe I will be driving, and there's all sorts of things way beyond my control that I can't take into account. My trust is in Him, that what happens is right, because it's His decision in perfect understanding and love, not mine. So practice that here, whether it's deciding to stay at home or go for a walk, eat or not eat. Practice breathing technique, triangular breathing or not, or do Paramahansa exercises or not. I choose to trust in Him. For each consciousness that I'm conscious of, that I have, so that it's not just second, it's first nature in all circumstances. Dream state, astral state, physical state, causal state, heavenly state. In all circumstances, to trust Him. And this is, you might think bizarrely, but this is to be an adult. To ever know it's the comprehensiveness of God, both in power and love and being, that is our eternal salvation, life eternal. And it's the prayer, John 17, that says, I ask that they be with me where I am. Which is what? Which is in the consciousness of praying to Heavenly Dad. The prayer itself, John 17. So we are with Him in this prayer of eternity. In other words, trust is a state of it being all done. Not because we know the details or can achieve such or have achieved such, but because it's in our Heavenly Dad's hands, without whom we and all this would not exist. not even the heavenly realm. Do you see? So we practice here faith, trust in our Heavenly Dad. And the child actually has this from the beginning. It's instinctive. He gazes into the face of mum, whoever's looking after him, and just experiences being as if it were an utterly new experience for him. And that's how we are with God eternally. Do you realize we are, in that sense, heavenly beings from the beginning, the eternal, to the end, the eternal? Right through the present, which is eternal. Present's always with us, isn't it? Isn't that amazing? And the past is always with us. You can think about it any time you like. Visit it in that sense. Or you can think about the present. Or you can think about the future. Well, possible futures, because you're a child. You don't have access to that information yet. You don't have the information full by any means to the past either, not remotely. I mean, the past is incredibly complex, and you only have sort of traces of what might be the case and might be the case in the future. And when you realize that also applies to the present, you only have traces of what is the case at the present. Because the universe is very large and the dimensions are very diverse. And the present in that sense is infinitely large. And all you know is your little area of the present. Not sure as we're seeing that quite right either. Love you, Heavenly Dad.